Yes, well, good evening. The Who's today were on at Kembla Grange. Um, and for the last week in Sydney, I had a little break and went over to Western Australia, went to the races at Ascot. Ascot Racecourse, a very, very nice course. The grandstand for the general public, as well as the members, is the old, very well maintained style building, which will never come down. Caters for a lot of people. The betting ring, well, while I was there, the betting ring for the bookmakers on the Wednesday, all the bookies went into the members area, and the public were allowed in. And on the last Saturday, they were moved into the main grandstand from their general position, which is a very, very good situation where they're situated. But as I say, they moved into the beautiful grandstand, which has the tallest high pillows and ceilings that you've ever seen. Plenty of room, plenty of the facilities are absolutely fantastic. And the race course, not only the track for the horses, but the grounds for the general public are so well maintained. Everything's very well painted. All the buildings are very well looked after. The grounds themselves are manicured as if they're cut with a pair of scissors, and it's a very, very good setup compared to some of the tracks that we have here in New South Wales. It's an absolute credit to them. Now, and the racing is very good. The bookmakers in Perth seem to be very able at their trade, and the whole setup, as I say, I was very, very impressed with it. Now back here in New South Wales, the races today, the Who's were on at Kembla Grange. It was a heavy track upgraded to a slow track, and the rail was in the 6 metre out position, and close to the fence. The runner that finished closest to the fence all day was the leader in the first race, Efferol. So its run to hold on and run third, beaten just over 1 1/4 lengths, beaten 1 1/4 lengths, was a very good effort. It stayed close to the fence, and as the day went on, they got wider and wider in the straight, and near the fence was not the place to be. But by the same token, it wasn't a swooper's track. Up near the lead was the place to be. It was very hard to make ground, even though the wind was out of the northwest, and when they turned for home, the wind was a very, very stiff breeze straight into their face. But the leaders, it didn't affect them. They were still able to hold on. I think they, besides the rain on the weekend, they had some rain there yesterday, and there's a good chance the grass hadn't been cut, and it was fairly long, and it was, of course, very gluey and hard for the runners to drag their feet through. Now the first race there, we had 104.1 on the screen for the robots. There was only about 100 in the marketplace, and I managed to lay 7,200 to 2,000 this winner. Quick's the word. It sat outside the leader and was just a little bit too strong. Coming from last, being trapped 3 wide in the run, was the favourite, or starting favourite. I'm talking about Azalin. It went up 5 to 2 second pick, or equal second pick. Now it went up 5 to 2 second pick and got out to as much as $4.60, $4.40, but started $3.50 favourite, and it came from in the field of 7 from last position out wide, and made up plenty of ground to be in a photo finish with the second horse for second, but finished up running third, as I say. And they got away from the others, and the opening favourite in the race, Adulation, well, it didn't have a price. it went from about $3, a 2-to-1 chance, out to $5.50 unlayable. There was a little bit of money around for East Village, or no money for Serbian Singer, as 16 out to 41. There's a little bit of money for Laurentine. No, there wasn't. It was $7 out to $10, and and it was very well back, the second horse, from as much as $6 into $4.40 Etherol, and leading and staying close to the fence. Maybe if he would have been able to get a bit wider in the straight, even though he got beat 1 1/4 lengths, it might have been a bit interesting, but it did look as if the winner held him safely, but he was wider, of course. The second race, we saw the winner sit second, lead early, talking about Shea Harmony. I had a very bad result in this race. It was $6 out to $7.50, back into $5, and it led early, but then was crossed by Bronte Express. Father Schofield explaining to the Stipes that he jumped well and generally gets back in the field, that it jumped so well that he kept on going forward, and he finished up in the lead, and the lead was handed up to him by Shea Harmony, who looked at him all the way, and after straightening finished far too well for him, and beating him about a good 2.5 lengths. I just didn't quite get the margins in that race. There's a few races here I haven't got the margins yet, but it was an easy win. But as I say, up near the lead was the place to be. It held on for second, Bronte Express, and coming from, well, at least second last or last early in the piece after being eased at the start was Taya. It ran on in the same race as Bronte Express last start, and it ran down the outside into third hole. And numbers 1 and 2 in this race, Bronte Express, or 1 and 3, Champagne Lifestyle, were very hard to lay, really. One went up, Bronte Express went up the $4 second pick and got out to $5, where Champagne Lifestyle opened up a $3.50 favourite, and it got out to $5 as well. Both of them fairly hard to lay. The winner was the best backed runner in the race. There was a bit of money at one stage for Lewis, although I found it hard to lay. And a couple of the roughies, well, I laid a good bet against number 8, Narasima. It was $26 into about 16, and there was a little bit of money around for a couple of the others. Turf Fairy 19 into 15, and Taya, and also Strategic Flight. They were back at 13 and 12 and $14. But the winner won easily and was the best backed in the race. Now the next race, well, going back to that race, they said there was 110.1 on the screen, but there was in the marketplace there was only 103. It wasn't as bad as usual. In the next race, well, this was fat. They said there was 116.8 on the screen. Well, it was all right, I must admit. There was about 108 in the ring, in the marketplace, and with a few runners layable, but the race where it turned out not to be any good for bookmakers was with the opening favourite, Deter, number 2. We put it up the $4.40 favourite, but it started $8.50, and I struck it for very little section, and there was a bit of money around for diamonds in the night, $26 into about 19. The next runner, Grays, well, it got out to $41, 21 out to 17 to 41. Now, Inseparable, it started favourite. It went up the $4 equal second pick, and it got out to it was back very well into about $3.80 at one stage, or no, into $4.20, but got back out to $4.60 towards the end of betting. And the one below it, Kingdoms, I think I might have been the only captain to give the $6 about it. It went up $5. I gave $6 for some section, but it only started the $5 second favourite, behind Inseparable, who started the favourite, and the others in the market. There was a little bit of money around for number 9 Master Shep, who led them up at $15, and there was a little tiny bit of money around for Sushi Drawing as well. They took 8 at one stage into $7.50. It started about that price. There was late scratching in this race. It was by the same token very well backed. It was 40s into 20. Tabarino, number 14, Tabiro, as I say, was it scratched the barrier. It got away from its handler. And there was also another roughie in this race, extremely well backed. I was out the gate if it would have won. The Good Mark. It was $51 into $14. They took 51, they took 41, 31, 26, 20, took 18. They took $17 and $16 off me. It started about a $14 chance. The Good Mark did cop a bit of a check in the run, and this race was won by Kingdoms, as I say, ridden by terrific Tommy Berry. He was in about 5th or 6th position near the fence, turning for home. The leaders, who were Magic Shep and also Projectile from Gay's camp, they both set a very solid pace up front. They got away at one stage to be leading about a good 4 lengths from Sandside Drawing and also Strong Boy. And when they got to the turn, they veered. They did a bit of a left-hand turn, and terrific Tommy, he cut the corner, not real close to the fence, but not far off it by the same token. And then he was able to get up inside, finishing in the middle of the track. The others near the line, coming from well back, was Deter down the outside. So its run would have been good as well. It made up plenty of ground. And hanging on for third was Gay's horse Projectile, who sat outside the lead. And coming from a bit back in the field as well, making up a lot of ground, was Diamonds in the Night into 4th hole. Cutting the corner and getting wide a little, and then getting to the middle of the track might have been the answer to Kingdoms getting home in this race. It wasn't a bad. It was a good win and also a very good ride. In race 4, there was 105.9 on the screen, but there was a lot less in the marketplace. There was only about 97. I can see straight away where the difference is, mainly, and that's with the winner, G Me Up. We put G Me Up about a $2.70 chance, favourite, clear favourite, and they've returned at $3.80, but it was $4.40 on at least one board when they jumped, but plenty of $4, but $4.40 available, and only returned at $3.80. Up near the lead, I suppose, was an advantage. They said they were going to ride Trick Shot closer, which they did. It led on the fence with G Me Up sitting second outside it, and getting a lovely card up behind the pair was the horse that finished up favourite in the market. It went up, you wouldn't see it, $4.60 Moss Money, ridden by horseman Huey Bowman, and he gave it a beautiful ride in third position, eased off their heels turning for home, but couldn't get past G Me Up, and G Me Up is beating by about, I say, half a length or a long neck, and gripping onto third just inside, excuse me, G Me Up was Trick Shot, who led, and it wasn't far away, beaten about 3/4 of a length. And Moss Money, as I say, started favourite, was very well back, $4.60 into $4.40, $4.24. They took the $3.80, the $3.60, the $3.50, and it started around about a $3.20 or $3.30 chance, having every possible hope. The winner up near the lead stuck on G Me Up like he did at Rosehill the other day. Race 5, they said there was 106.3 on the screen for the robots, 98% only in the marketplace, and well, these were the flux very quickly. The import trained by Gay GLR, it went from $4.60 out to $7.60, back into $5 at one stage, but started 6 on my board. Cost to zip, it went up $4 out to 5. It only started around about the $4.40 mark, 4.20. Doubt not, it was 5.50 out to 8, back into about $6. Little Gulliver, it was $8 out to $10. Then we got down to Pump It. Now Pump It went up 5 to 2 favourite and got out to as much as $4.60. But at one stage, it was $5. It was 5 to 2, $3.50 out to $4 taken for whatever you wanted. At that stage, I did manage to lay 4,500 to 1,500, but it started 7 to 2 begging. After it was back to $4 taken into 3.80, 3.70 early, it got well back out in the market. As much as $5 might have even been given. It was $5 after that, but started only about a $4.60 chance. And then we had the winner access code, which I might have pointed out to you was a very, very good run at Canterbury last start. It went up a $6 chance, got out to as much as 8, but it only started $7, fairly hard to get. The next runner was backed, Shaughnessy. It was 16 out to 18, back into about $14. And Salala Magic, well, I was $31 when they jumped. I did lie it at 26, 17 out to 26. I was 31 when they jumped. A little bit under the 100, and going to the lead in this race was Shaughnessy. Sitting on its outside was Costa Zip. Tucked in behind them was Galliano from barrier 2, and in the 1-1 position was the winner. And when they turned for home, it was able to just get up outside the leaders, easing off their heels when they swung to the middle of the track and get past them fairly easy, and set up say a 2-length break and held on very well. Might have won by a length and a half, beating the leader Shaughnessy again. Again, showing how up near the lead was the place to be on the track today. Shaughnessy, a 30 to 1 chance led, rolled along pretty good, but it was still able to grip on to that second position. Race 6, we saw 106.1 on the screen, and in the marketplace there was a tick under the 100, around about 99. And this race was won by Agent Bauer, a completely different run to its last performance at Kembla Grange, where it went like a trotter, but today it went like a galloper, and it slid through from just past midfield on the fence to get inside runners on the turn, and then ease off their heels and hold on and win. It was very well backed. $11 given. It went up about an $8 chance and got out to as much as 11. It only started about an $8.50 chance, and as I say, it was extremely well backed. Dolphy's Boy, it was layable. Went from about a $12 chance out to 14, and layable at that price. Well, I think the SP might have been a lot less, but I was 14 and laying it. Angel Bauer, I've told you, it was well back. Steeler Pipe, they did take $6, but it started $6 after opening up around about a $5.50 chance. Misdiagnosis didn't have a price, 17 out to 21, although I think I might have laid 2,100. Bell Rommel, $8 into $7 at one stage, started only about a $6.50 chance. Now the favourite Celtic Prince, it was layable, but you had to go to $3.40 to lay it, although I did lay 2,000 or 1,000 at one stage, but towards the finish I might have bet 4,000 against it at $3.40. Hippopus, Gay's horse, who was an extremely good run because it made the favourite Celtic Prince, who led from barrier 1, ridden by Jenny Duggan, made it run along at a good pace all the way, and after getting past it, after straightening up, it fought on very well, Hippopus, and was only narrowly beaten by Agent Bauer, about a long neck, and coming from about second last in the race, even last at one start, or second last, was Lucky down the outside, making up ground to be not far away, maybe only beaten about 3/4 of a length. The others seemed to have their chance. The two leaders were Celtic Prince, as I say, so its run was a bit disappointing, being up near the lead, but Hippopus made it work all the way, and its run was fairly good. Then we came to the lucky last, and here we saw Swift Judgment, and this could have been possibly the best performance of the day, because it was ridden by horseman Huey Bowman. It came from near the tail of the field for about second last or even last position in between horses, at one stage turning and close to that position turning for home. And he didn't come around them, and he didn't go inside them. He went straight through the high diddle diddle, and he made up a lot of ground, which was, as I've explained, hard to do today. And who did he grab in the last bound? It was the leader, City of Light, trained by Gay. I own the lead. It went straight to the lead, City of Light, and Bowman, as I say, weaved his way through the middle and was able to bob the City of Light on the line, and gain victory. They said there was 109.2 on the screen, but there was only about 102 in the marketplace. These were the flux, and noticeably straight away, this is a major one. The shooter was returned $9 SP. It opened up about a $9 chance, got out to 10, returned $9, an 8 to 1 pop. Well, I was $16 at least when they jumped, if not $17. Toffler, it went up a $4.60 chance, got out to $5, but back in to start clear favourite at around about $3.70, 80. I think I was $3.80 when they jumped, or $3.70. City of Light, it got the blows. It went from $4 out to $6. Piazza San Pietro, it was well backed. As soon as we went up, the $13 was snapped up by the pros, and it was into $9 at one stage, but started 10. July Opera was a bit hard to lay, from 13 out to 17. Swift Judgment, I did lay it. It was $9 out to $15 on my board, or even $16. Mottled was labelled at 9, 7 out to 9, back into $8.50. Dream Supreme laid plenty of big wagers against this, $16 into 12. Pineapple, it was backed, $17 into about $11. Halo's Image, I laid it on the way out, $10 out to start, $17 on my board. I don't think it'll be that SP. The next runner, Halo's Image, Paramount Pete, it was 20 out to 30, back into 26. Raring to Win, I laid some good wagers against it, 26 out to 41 to start, only 26 hard to get. And I did lay Illusion at $201, started about $151 on my board. And as I said, it was possibly the best run of the day, the winner in this last race, because it was hard to make up ground on this track, and it came from well back to win. Getting the favourite Toffler, it was always going to be up near the lead, and it was drawn wide, whereas Gay's City of Light was able to cross and get a fairly good lead. Unfortunately for Toffler, we had Raring to Win from barrier 3 kick up on the fence and hold that position behind the leader, and outside it was Halo's Image, who went backwards in the straight, pulled up mildly lame, and trapped outside. Halo's Image, unfortunately, was the favourite, who did it a bit tough out there. It was all right to be up near the lead, but not trapped wide, which was the case with Toffler, and it fought on very well. It finished up, it ran 1, 2, 3, 4. It ran 6 and only was beaten about 3, I'd say, odd lengths. That was about the meeting. Excuse me, it was an ATC meeting transferred to Kembla, and we had a few. The pros played. Excuse me, the pros played, and they played well. And but it was hard to find any decent bets amongst the other grumble and grunters who were there. But anyway, that's what the situation is when it comes to this racing game at the moment. We'll see what happens. Next meeting is Friday at Canterbury, and then we have the weekend. So we'll talk to you later on. Good evening.